everybody, my name is MetalMusicMan.
I'm Professor Lex.
And this is episode 52 of the Metal and Lex podcast.
Congratulations. After you finish this, you will have listened to us talk for a full year.
I'm so sorry.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
Alex,
yeah, we're
I thought you were a
now.
madman when you tried to say we should do a podcast, and then
wasn't it you? Didn't you have that?
Yes. Okay. All right. Let me rephrase that. Okay. So I probably had the idea, but you probably said something like, "Sure."
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Or
you probably said something like, "That is a good idea." You probably vaguely encouraged me enough to want to do it, and for that I will hate you forever and
ever.
But here we are, finishing up the final.
This isn't our anniversary. This is the last one.
This is the last one before, and then the next one is our official actual anniversary. But man, that's crazy. So anyway, content. I hope you guys have been enjoying all of the content.
Rather than just the I see. You're talking about the content over the past year. I thought that you were talking about our sort of self-congratulatory, masturbatory.
Well, they can enjoy that too. Right the nice thing about this is that is also the content.
Is content, yeah. That's, unintentionally, whether they meant it or not, that's what they're paying for.
You've been listening to me talk about my penis for 52 episodes and sometimes fighting games. Congratulations, kids. Oh my goodness. So I'm drinking some tea today. I just spent the better part of like 3 hours updating UltimateFrameData.com. The number one
where
source,
the frames go.
The number one source for Super Smash Brothers frame data or something. This isn't your grandma's frame data. What'd you say?
This isn't your grandma's frame data. Do you have a silly tagline? Is there like if I hover over the bar, does it say?
Yeah, it's mobile friendly frame data is what I. I actually removed that though. So I use that tag when I like talk about it, and I think it's on Twitter, but I removed it from the bar just for simplicity's sake. I hate really long title bars, like when you bookmark something and it's got like 50, and I know that
and it runs off the page.
It's better for SEO for lots of stupid reasons.
Oh, sure.
I don't give a fuck. I don't want to mess with that shit. Anyway, so yeah, I've been working on that. So Pyra and Mythra came out for the Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Switch, and man, so okay, hang on. Let me give a brief overview just in case people don't know. So Pyra and Mythra are from some stupid game, Xenoblade.
Hey.
Yeah, whatever. Some
beloved
dumb fucking JRPG. Yeah, called fucking Xenoblade Chronicles.
Those games are too open world for me. I haven't actually been. I've started Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, like 2 or 3 times, and I walk into town and like 30 different people ask me to do something. And I go, and I just turn it off.
You just crumble into a ball and get scared.
Like
I am gonna make you play
know
Skyrim.
My character's name.
I'm gonna make you play Oblivion.
Probably not.
No, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. Oblivion would be so much fun. Anyway, so yeah, some dumb fucking game called Xenoblade Chronicles that I guess people like enough for them to have put these characters into the game, and I don't know, they're anime sword waifu characters, which are like swordies are like the Shotos of Smash, and so in normal fighting games like Street Fighter, everyone's like, oh, they put another Shoto. So the Shoto is Ryu, Ken, Akuma.
Your basic building block, fundamental character upon which the rest of the game is phrased.
Yeah, the fundamental character design. So that's basically like swordies are like, they're not but they're the closest thing and the most used fundamental design for Smash. So anyway, I think they look pretty cool. I haven't touched them yet. I haven't played them at all.
Same. I got word from Jim that my Switch did update.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping to get some practice in either today or tomorrow and actually test them out and see. But they look pretty cool. But yeah, I got all the Ultimate Frame Data pages updated at the website UltimateFrameData.com, and that took a couple hours. And I guess the reason I'm bringing this up, just a couple, wasn't too bad. I mean, Zap Brannigan makes it pretty easy. He's got his Excel spreadsheet, which I usually get, so like my workflow is typically like I'll get the preliminary data from Zap Brannigan because he does everything by hand and he's like really fast and he's the shit. That guy's awesome. He's on Smashboards. He doesn't have like any social media, so you have to like go to Smashboards to talk to him.
Weird.
Like, it's like,
you have to actually find him. Do you like DM him?
5 or something. Yeah, he has like a thread. You can DM him. So I always make a point to go in there and like into his thread and remind him that he's awesome. So that guy's cool. So I usually get all that, and then usually Zeke Myro, who's like the hitbox god.
The CEO of hitboxes.
Yeah, so he had like early on, I used to use a bunch of different people's hitboxes. A lot of people did them, and then he had like a friend who DM'd me and was like, "Hey man, Zeke makes good hitboxes, but I don't think he's gonna like talk to you. You should message
You're
him.
too big.
And and I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, I really like his hitboxes. He's really, Zeke is like the only person on Earth who's more anal retentive than I am. Like when I talk to him, I feel like, you have a friend. Do you have a friend where your relationship with that friend is just to like tell them that they fucking need to clean their shit up? Do you have a friend like that, or do you just not ever have
clean their No,
yeah,
I'm afraid I'm
never
the guy who needs to clean their shit up.
I am a lot of people's like kick in the ass friend, right? Like that's kind of like my most useful function. Like some people, you have your friends that you go to when you like want a hug, you know, or whatever. And I'm not really, I mean, I give pretty good hugs, don't get me wrong. But like at the end of the day, my best function is to kick you in the ass. Like you're like, hey, Will, I need someone to punch me right in the asshole. And I'm like, here you go, motherfucker. That's the function I serve best. So when I talk to Zeke, I feel like the opposite end of that relationship.
He's kicking you in the ass.
And it's so foreign to me. Like he'll say shit. Sometimes he'll be like today, he's like, you fucking didn't update Wario's up tilt. And I'm like, I could swear I uploaded that last night. He's like, well, you fucking didn't. I'm just like, God damn it.
Damn,
like
dude.
I'm never on that side of the fence.
Shit, let me go get to my computer.
It's so weird to have like that relationship with somebody be inverted for me. But anyway, so usually I get most of the stuff data wise from those two guys, and then obviously there's stuff from like Meshma and Ruben and Character Discord. So it's like I gotta go and kind of grab up all that information. So yeah, first pass right now where we're at with Pyra and Mythra with the new characters is I've got their preliminary Zap Brandingland frame data, and then I'll kind of update from what people in the community say is like, this is, you know, less or more accurate and should be this way and da-da-da-da, and then we'll get hitboxes. But yeah, so that takes, it takes a little while to do. I also did a lot of other updates, so it wasn't just like those two took a couple hours this morning. I also was going through, so like Zap, because he's really quick, is really good for like the new characters, and then Zeke is like super, super thorough. So Zeke will send me like, he'll go through the patch notes and like he'll have like
investigate every.
Yeah, he'll have like each one because he's got like all the active frame updates, which kind of tells you like how the frame data changes, and then he'll update his images. So I was doing that for several characters. If you look at actually on the website, if you go to UFD, this is one of the most like detailed change logs I've ever done. Because normally my change log is literally like, updated these characters, fucking blow me. I'm not telling you what I did. I just know just know that they've been updated. And like, so I was like, maybe I'll try and like actually do a change log. And like, it's super useful, but like, fuck, dude, it is. I don't think people appreciate like how much time some of this shit takes. Like, and I'm not even the one doing the initial polls, right? So like Zeke's spending a lot of time, Zap's spending a lot of time, I'm spending a lot of time. It's just really hard and annoying to document like every little thing, you know, like patch notes are kind of a bitch, dude, like to write out. So anyway, that's all good. So that's what I've been doing this morning. And hopefully I'll get some time to actually play Pyra and Mythra. I might play some with Hylian today or tomorrow, but yeah, they look cool. I think they look like cool characters. They seem to have like a pretty, they're not like such a clone of like Marth, like a lot of the sorties end up being, where they're like very similar to Marth with like tweaks.
But they're Marth butt, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they are. I mean, every sortie sort of is Marth butt, like you said.
I mean, like it's a nuance. It's a play on Marth, but like even like Shulk is barely a Marth. I mean, he is, but he isn't.
I would say he's almost entirely not. And that, Shulk is
right.
Yeah. But so
you could argue that. Jeff would argue that. We don't listen to Jeff.
I would put Pyra and Mythra a little closer, to a more standard character than someone like Shulk, who's like super fucking weird. But but yeah, they look really neat. The thing that I was noticing, which is why I went, other than just to jack myself off, as we have said, is the theme of this podcast for a year later.
Masturbation will stick. Yeah.
The main reason I actually did bring that up is because when I was looking at the frame data and doing it this morning, I did Pyra first. So Pyra, they're like, for those of you who don't know, they're like, they're a 2-in-1 character. So one of
Zelda
their
Sheik from Melee.
Yeah, one of their moves turns them into the other one, and vice versa, right?
Switch character except Smash.
Yeah, so Pyra is like the stronger, slower one.
She's the heavy,
and Mythra is the like lighter, faster, weaker one.
Glass cannon.
And so they have a slightly different weight. Pyra's like 98, Mythra's like 92, which is pretty light, both of them. Well, 98's not that light. Yeah, 92 is fairly light. I think the lightest
midweight.
The lightest in the game is like 70 something, but that's like just Jigglypuff and
That's
whoever.
Jigglypuff,
I
yeah.
think Sephiroth is 80 something or 90 something.
Oh, wow.
What is Sephiroth? I know he weighs the same as
He's-
Kirby.
He needs to eat something. That boy is all skin and bones.
Sephiroth weighs 79, which is the same as Kirby.
Wow.
Yeah, so actually 92 is actually shit. 92 is actually mid pack. 92 is the same as Wolf. So even Mythra is actually midweight. So actually that's not light at all. Shit, I totally misspoke. They're total midweights. Anyway, if I could get to my original point, it's that Pyra being slower and stronger. I did Pyra's frame data first because Pyra is like the core character, I guess, and Mythra is the alt. Not that it really matters, but she's like the first one who's introduced. Pyra, I'm looking at, I'm like, all right, this character's frame data is like not that good. It's not awful, but it's not great. Like I think her fastest out of shield option is like 11 frames or 13 frames or something at best. And all of her moves are like, they're not really slow, but they're just not much to write home about. So I'm like, okay, I know Mythra is going to be faster. I've not played these characters. I did not anticipate how much faster Mythra's moves were going to be. I'm going to get really boring and talk about frame data.
And technical. Ooh, some numbers. So it looks like Pyra's best out of shield option is up B at 13 frames out of shield.
Yeah, which is awful.
Mythra, on the other hand, her up smash is 9 frames out of shield. Her up B is 10 frames out of shield, which of course is 3 frames faster than Pyra's.
Even 9 is not that great, but it's like,
it's pretty good.
It's decent. I mean, their out of shield is not great. It's more like their total speed though. Like so, like if you look at like. So like Pyra has a 3-frame jab, Mythra has a 2-frame jab. That's
2-frame jab.
That's right. 2-frame jab is the fastest jab in the game, but I was like, okay, it's only a frame faster. You know, I was like, all right, whatever. But then if you look at the tilts, I think it's
the tilts. Okay.
Yeah, so look up here, I'll pull up
I got 2 tabs pulled up.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same here on UFD.
On ultimatefreightandData.com.
Yeah. So look at like Pyra forward tilt. So Pyra forward tilt.
Pyra forward tilt is 12 frames startup.
12 frames startup, 37 total frames. Okay?
Minus 12, or pardon me, minus 10 on shield.
So Mythra is 8 frames startup and 25 total frames. So
somehow it's more minus on shield though.
Well, it has less hit stun. It has less hit stun.
Yeah.
So that's why.
That makes sense.
It's one less safe on shield. But yeah, so fucking 12 less total frames and 4 frame faster startup. Like what? And they're all the tilts are that way. Like up tilt for Mythra, 7 frame startup, 26 total frames. Pyra, 11 frame startup, 39 total frames.
That's a normal move.
That's absurd. Like 13 less total frames? Are you kidding me? I don't understand what you just had like a weird electric buzz come through your mic. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll try not to do it again. That was the robot in me.
Are you electrocuting your equipment right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Well, you seem to be. So anyway, yeah, D-tilt's the same shit. Like 20 total frames for D-tilt for Mythra, 5 frame startup, and then Pyra is 26 total frames, 9 frame startup. So like I don't know, it's just crazy to me. And then what was it? I think the other one was it dash attack? Yeah. Pyra dash attack is a 17 frame startup with 52 total frames. Mythra dash attack is a 9 frame startup with 20 total frames. I had to check that like 5 times. So unless Zap made a typo, that is
less than half the duration.
That is insane. That's like my favorite frame data fact of all time, which is that from Street Fighter 4, there are more frames in the startup of Seth's Sonic Boom than all of the frames in Guile's Sonic Boom. That's like one of those facts where you're just like...
it is like that, exactly.
You're just like, what?
You could dash attack twice and then some in the time that it would take you to do one dash attack from Pyra.
Yeah,
or Pyra. I haven't played Xenoblade 2.
Insane, dude. Insane. So anyway, Pyra has a lot more kill power, but it seems like 90% of the time you're going to be playing Mythra, from what I've seen anyway.
That's what I was going to ask. So as far as like practical applications go, we've got one character who is 2 people. One of them is this light, fast, feathery sort of runny, stabby girl. And the other one is the bruiser with the flames on her sword who makes people die.
Yeah.
Do you think that we will see Mythra mains and Pyra mains, or do you think that the strategy will be a combination of the two? Because I'm very hopeful it's that last thing. I'm
sure we'll see people who like prefer Mythra or Pyra, but there's no way that's going to be optimal. I talked to Hylian about this. He's thinking about maining them, and he said that he thinks Pyra will be necessary because he has a hard time killing with Mythra.
Okay.
But I don't know if I believe him. I don't know if I believe him because here's the thing. Here's the reason I think it won't. I'm not saying it'll never be useful. It's not going to be like as bad as like Zelda and Melee. Like I'm not saying that. Like I do agree that
Zelda sucks.
Yeah, there will be use for Pyra, like to find a certain hit and just kill someone. I think there will be use. I don't know that I think it will be necessary because Mythra, just Mythra, not Pyra. Only Mythra has a bats within mechanic.
Yes,
it's called Foresight.
Mechanic.
And it's really stupid.
Bats within is kind of weird. Foresight is kind of dumb.
Yeah, it looks really stupid. So the way quick overview.
Bats within. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say I'll just go with Foresight probably because we're not explaining two things. But so in Smash you can spot dodge, roll, or air dodge. So in the air you can dodge in place or dodge in a direction. On the ground you can dodge in place or you can roll dodge left or right. Okay. So every character can do that. That's just like a universal thing. And characters have like varying degrees of roll and dodge lengths, durations, invulnerability frames, etc. But the gist of it is that everybody moves out of the way and is invincible for a period of time, and then they become like punishable at the end of it. So you can like punish the end lag of them trying to dodge, or they can dodge your attack and then punish you depending on the timing. So every character can do this. So for no fucking reason, because Sakurai is stupid, he decides to give two characters a weird extra thing. And the first time this happened was in Smash 4 with Bayonetta, and that's Bats Within. But we're not going to talk about that.
Just know that is bad. It just makes me angry when it happens.
Well, it was good in 4.
Oh, okay.
So
there's the explanation then.
Yes, and they nerfed it. So this is the same kind of shit. Now, I don't think this is going to be as OP as the Twitterverse seems to think it's going to be, but it is OP. It is OP. Don't get me wrong.
It is
stupid.
Definition.
It should not exist. So basically what happens is if you dodge at a certain time, there, like in addition to having your invulnerable frames, there are certain frames of your dodge that activate this Foresight. So if you look at her on UltimateFrameData.com, her spot dodge data. So Mythra gets let's see, dodges and rolls. It's usually like frame 2 to frame like 6 or frame like 3 to frame 9 or something. Looks like most of them are 2 to 5, 2 to 6, 2 to 7. Yeah. So basically, you spot dodge, and if you do your dodge or your roll or your air dodge, if you dodge the attack right at the beginning, so it's like it takes normally the invulnerability for most dodges, like say we compare directly to Pyra. Okay, so Pyra has like a relatively normal spot dodge setup. We'll just look at spot dodge alone, just for the sake of simplicity. So spot dodge takes 20 and 25 total frames to complete, which is fairly universal. Not everybody has exactly that, but it's fairly universal. So total frames is 25 if you don't like interrupt it, and it's invulnerable on frame 3 to 17. So Mythra is still invulnerable, but her early frames are Foresight. So frame 2 to 6 is Foresight, and frame 7 to 21 is invulnerable. But Mythra also has a longer total dodge animation for all of her dodges. So there is some downside to it. The total lag or the total frames for all of her dodges are 5 to like 7 frames longer than like a normal dodge would be because of Foresight being tacked onto the beginning. But Foresight's at the beginning of it. So basically it's like 1 frame after you start any dodge. 1 frame after it, for about 5 frames, you can Foresight. So that's really not hard because it is at the start, right? That's important. The fact that Foresight's at the beginning and not at the end.
At the end, you don't have to, or in the middle.
Yeah, you don't really have to time it other than to just start it at the time the hit hits you.
Yeah.
And so what happens is it like, I actually don't know exactly how it works. It looks like it like freezes them for a second. The opponent,
I think it adds additional. Effectively adds additional.
It adds additional total frames.
Recovery
frames
is right.
To the opponent. So like if you spot dodge like a projectile,
Ganon forward smash. Oh, okay.
No. It could even be a projectile. Like you could spot dodge like a arrow from Young Link. I got actually A2 sent me a video of that. You can like spot dodge arrow and then immediately do like a burst movement option while they're stuck and punish them. You
can run over and forward smash them.
That's insane. That's insane. So that's to me why I don't think Mythra will really need Pyra. I think there will be times when Pyra is useful, but Pyra can't do that. So even though Pyra can kill better, Mythra can basically punish something that otherwise wouldn't be punishable and force the opponent to not even do their moves.
Set the controller down.
And so Mythra, to me, if I'm a betting man, this looks like easy top 5 character, potentially.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would say that she has the potential to be a top tier. I will be shocked if she's high tier.
If Pyra is worse than a high tier, I will shit the floor. There's no way. I would say conservative estimate, at least from what I'm seeing right now, there's no way she's not top 10. And I would say it's highly likely, especially after some of the Palutena nerfs and Wario nerf. I would say it's extremely likely that she's top 5. And I think Pyra is just whatever. Pyra is a fine character. She's probably upper mid, or I don't even know. Like, she's a fine character. But Mythra is insane. And I can't imagine that there's going to be that much hype around like Pyra. Well, there'll be hype around it because it'll be hype to watch.
Sure.
Like, I can't imagine there'll be that much usefulness for Pyra's kill power compared to Mythra's apparent ability to control everything at all times.
But yeah, well,
but also it's not a bad option to turn into Ganondorf.
Yeah. I wish that Bayonetta could turn into Ganondorf for like 2 seconds at a time. I wish that Bayonetta could invincibly turn into Ganondorf, do a thing, and then turn back into Bayonetta.
Excuse me, I forgot that when you swap between them, they also for some fucking reason get invincibility when they swap. So it's also like a pseudo parry where you have invincibility frames when you do the swap and you can dodge it with it. So to answer your question, I don't think there will be mains, and I don't think there will be people. No, hang on. I don't think there will be people who use both either. I think we actually only got one character.
Mythra?
We got Mythra. And sometimes it's useful for Mythra to become Ganondorf, to be Pyra.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time, it's going to be Mythra. That's my bet.
That's about as close to what I was hoping for as I think I could feasibly
Ain't nobody going in with Pyra except people who hate themselves, like me. Like, if I like Pyra, I will play Pyra. If I pick Pyra up tonight or tomorrow and I play her and I'm like, ooh, Pyra kind of nice, I will play Pyra. Don't do it, kids. I am certain there is no reason to do that. But we'll see. Like I said, I haven't touched them yet, but I've been watching a fair amount of the Twitterverse videos, and I just went through all the frame data. So, I mean, I feel like I will be shocked if there is much reason to play Pyra. That's where I stand anyway.
But I think having the option is nice. And okay, so like in a perfect world, you would use the invincibility that you get from down B, the hot swap, to switch back and forth to whoever is best suited for the current situation, which ideally should change mid-match. I don't think we're going to see that. That's what I would have liked. I think that we'll probably just see you rack up damage with Mythra and then maybe turn into Pyra.
Maybe Pyra for kill, maybe not. And
because you could Gimp or whatever.
They're not different enough. And that's the problem with all these dual characters. It's like if you make them too different, like Sheik and Zelda, then one of them is probably going to suck, and it's going to be the slow, powerful one, because generally just fast characters are just better. And that's also the problem with Mythra, is not only is Mythra like the shining example of how like fast characters are just going to be better most of the time. Like, if you're going to be a slow character to be good, you need to be something like a Wario or a Bowser, where you've got like one or two ridiculously oppressive insta-kill type options. And even then, you're probably not. Like, Wario barely even counts, because while he's quote-unquote slow, he's like actually surprisingly hyper-mobile and is actually hyper-safe. So like, I don't even know that Wario counts as slow. Like, he isn't. He's such a weird design. But for the most part, it's like your fast character is always better. But then Mythra, in addition to being the fast character, Mythra also has fucking foresight.
Which is so dumb.
To me, it seems like if anyone was going to have foresight, it should be Pyra.
I imagine it's a lore thing.
Probably, but like Pyra, like foresight to me strikes me as like... Needs it? Yeah, that's something you would think like a slow character. Like you think about like Incineroar's design, where he's got like revenge, where like you're rewarded for predicting your opponent appropriately with like big damage or a free hit, right? Like potentially. So, like, you would think, or I would think from a balance standpoint, like, Pyra would be the one that got foresight. But, like, apparently it's Mythra. And so, she not only is she going to oppress you all the time and do crazy combos, she also, when she's in like disadvantage, can just turn that into basically a parry and hit you for free, which is...
You do take partial damage.
Sure.
Like that's within.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who cares?
No one, not me. I was just saying it. I just like the sound of my own voice. That's all.
So anyway, I don't know. I think they look really cool. Mythra is, I think, probably going to be a problem, but we'll see how that goes. I still think Joker's going to be the best character. I think while I'm shitting on Hylian, like he was like, oh man, Aha feels so much worse. Because like Aha got nerfed, and I was like, does it? And then like I'm going through the shit today, and it was like the total frames of Aha went. Aha's his side B, the little snap where he shoots something in the air. I think the total frames went from like, what is it? It's like 3. Yeah, it was 49 total frames, and now it's 52. Oh no!
Shit. That opens up a whole new world of punish options.
Like, that doesn't make any fucking difference. And then the other thing they did for Joker, which is also irrelevant in my opinion, is the
down B nerf.
The total frames when he, it's like I think it's when he misses the down B.
Yeah, if you whiff down B, which is his counter.
If it doesn't counter, then it takes 4 more frames to recover, which is
that's sizable. That actually that makes some difference. I don't know if it will cripple Joker, but it does make down B into a more fair move instead of flatly the best counter in the game.
Well, I still hate it though, because the problem is that Rebel's Guard is still good. I actually think Rebel's Guard is more problematic than Tetrakarn Makarakarn, because while Tetrakarn Makarakarn is unquestionably the best counter in the game in terms of its ability, because it's a reflect and it's a counter. It has the most absurd hitbox. It never misses. Like, it's insane.
And it recovers so fast.
It is a temporary thing that you only get when Arson is out. And the reason I think Rebel's Guard is more problematic is because Rebel's Guard gives you Arson. Which is why Tetrakarn Makarakarn is so insane, because when you're not in it, you can just do that, and that's like even better and dumber because it activates your bullshit mode. Joker's still gonna be the best character in the game. That character's fucking broke dick. There's no way he's not
top 3.
There's no way he's not the best character. There's no way, especially after Palutena nerfs. Like, she was, in my opinion, not that close to being number 1. Other people disagree. I feel like it's still like Pikachu and Peach.
Didn't they buff Pichu?
They did, but they're really minor. He got nerfed hard. Oh, I would delete Pichu from the game. I know you would. He got nerfed hard like a year and a half ago. Pichu was top tier for about 6 months or some shit. And they nerfed the ever-loving shit out of him. They like totally...
Poor baby.
He's still really good. He's just not... He's like a low
top
mid
tier. He's
or
not
a
top
high
2.
mid at best. Maybe, I don't know. He's like a midish. Yeah, he's somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
But anyway, Joker's still going to be the best character. I don't think it's even close. Other weird buffs: Byleth down smash and Byleth down air
kill
buff.
Sooner now?
They already killed so early. I don't understand why they
like 20. Now they kill it like
sense.
18.
I don't get it. But yeah, big Palutena nerfs. The biggest one being her grab range is 2 units shorter. She had the best grab probably in the game, I would say. The range, unquestionably, relative range to everything else, was definitely the best. So 2 units off, it's pretty substantial. I mean, I think grab range makes a bigger difference than a lot of things, because it's not like if it's a fair that you're reducing the range on, you can space a fair, but it's a lot harder to like space and float around with the grab because you're on the ground.
Especially if you're that close.
Yeah.
As I've learned from playing Sephiroth, who has just an ass grab range.
Yeah, exactly. But they also made her on shield less safe for fair, which is, I think, a really great change. It was -3 on shield, and now it's -5. So I think that's really good. And then they also nerfed Zero Suit Samus Nair, this is another one of these nerfs that, like, hats off to Vessel O on Twitter for not being a weird sensationalist Riri like most Zero Suit Samus players. He's like, oh yeah, my Nair went from -2 to -4. It's like, oh, yeah, I can deal with that. It's like, yeah, imagine having a -2 aerial and being pissed that it goes all the way down to -4, which is still completely safe and unpunishable against 90% of the characters or better in the game. And Nair fucking true combos into down B and will kill anyone at like 0 if you get that combo at the ledge. Like that, Zero Suit is the most underrated character, I think, in the entire game.
She's top 5.
She is almost certainly top 5 now. I don't know if I was certain she was top 5 before, but she was definitely top 10 at worst, and potentially top 5. So yeah, Zero Suit is nuts. And I think she's a lot easier than some of the other top tiers is the other thing. I don't think she's especially easy to play, but Zero Suit is easier than, say, like Peach for sure to play. I think definitely easier than Joker. I think Zero Suit is a similar character design to Wario, actually, where you're this like really annoyingly mobile character that has really safe bullshit that can't be punished ever. And so they basically chase you down. And if you get the right hit, you combo it into your dumb bullshit and kill them and they die. And if you don't get the hit, you just keep moving around. Like they're very similar but different characters. Because like Wario is like this fat piece of shit with lots of active hitboxes. He's really floaty. But like at the end of the day, move into fart or move into down B, like as Zero Suit, like they're actually pretty similar end game. But anyway, those are all of the patch notes and things. So I don't know if, Ganon up B too. I forgot. Yeah.
The rock croc.
Apparently it's a lot harder to rock croc Ganon now. I haven't played with it yet, but it looks like it's definitely really good for offense because like if you up B someone offensively, you recover like, I think it's literally 25 frames faster.
Wow.
26 frames faster. 27? Yeah, math. 27 frames. That's insane. So almost 30 frames faster recovery. But that I think will help too if you use it defensively. Go ahead.
For those of you following along at home, because I've had to have Rock Croc explained to me 20 times. If Ganondorf is recovering, he uses his up B usually. And his up B launches him upwards, and then it's a grab. And if he grabs you, you fly away, and then he can still continue to sort of move, right? The problem was, if Will is recovering with his up B, and I'm trying to edge guard him with Yoshi, if he hits me with the up B, I'll bounce into the stage. And if I bounce into the stage, I'm allowed to tech. If I tech, I can punish him. So he would have been right to have caught me with the up B. He outsmarted me. He outplayed me. He did the spacing and everything right. But because I pressed L at the right time, I get to kick him in the teeth.
And I die.
Yeah, he was right.
For me personally, the bigger issue is that it does force me to grab. I still wish they would allow me to like hold B or something to not grab.
Just ignore it. Yeah.
Because he has the attack at the end. Ganondorf has like the end of it. He does the punch. I want to be able to like press a button and only do that punch so that I don't even have to grab.
Little fingertip.
So yeah, some people are swearing that he's unrock crockable. I've seen several videos of people still rock crocking. It looks like it's just a lot harder, which is why I'm not.
Better.
It's better, but I'm not hyped about it. Like a lot of people have been DMing the shit out of me, like on all media, like Discord, and everyone's like, "MetalMusicMan, Ganon isn't rock crockable." I don't believe you, children. I think he's rock crockable. So yeah, I mean, I got a bunch of stuff. Hylian was like writing a book. I was tweeting about that and giving him shit. He was like doing a bunch of like frame by frame analysis and all that, and it's like, I don't know if I think that has covered every situation. So there's a lot of situations he was looking at where like if you wall tech, I guess you can like wall tech cancel into a jumper or an aerial, which is really interesting, and I didn't know. And if you do that, it's like he has enough frames to hit me, but it was like the sword was like going through my legs. It was like interpolation or something. So I feel like there are going to be some moves where that doesn't happen. And then I also feel like there's going to be moves where even if technically Ganon recovers before the other person, I feel like there's going to be moves where like my moves are still slower. Like even if I recover sooner, they'll probably be able to still do like another move, or I'll still be in a bad spot. I think it's going to be a really big improvement. I'm not saying it won't be. I just feel like given a little bit of time, somebody's going to realize as long as you can tech that fucking ledge, pretty much. I feel like there's going to be some shit. So I've seen some videos though where somebody techs the ledge and then the Ganon like jumps and hits them. So I think it'll be the best case scenario would be if the way you can rock croc punish still is like really obscure to the point where people don't want to lab it, or they don't know because it is obscure. And if it's good enough that like you are more likely to lose to Ganon by rock croc teching than vice versa, I think that will be enough to help a lot. And so I hope that is the case and that it will discourage that more interaction because it's a stupid interaction. It's just a really stupid, awful.
I shouldn't kill you for you being right.
Yeah, it was the dumbest thing ever. So I think it will help a lot. I don't know that I am faithful that it will remove the issue, but we'll see. I got to play. Game just came out. Patch just came out rather. So
yeah. Ultimate frame data just updated.
Just updated. Just found out.
Yeah.
So did you want to talk about some Skullgirls stuff? Is that on your docket?
Yeah. So Skullgirls, great game, great experience, whatever. The important thing is Annie is in beta now. And anyone who's got Skullgirls, anyone who's purchased the game can play, well, at least on PC, can pop on over to the options and switch over to the beta mode. So Annie's there. She's great. I've talked to the St. Louis Discord. They're all like, oh yeah, that's exactly what Skullgirls needed, was a sort of anime shoto, an easy to pick up and explain character. So I do think that she'll,
to me.
Yeah.
I
think that she'll be healthy for a lot of people that are trying to get into Skullgirls, especially since because of the success of Skullgirls Mobile and the fact that they're going on with another season, there's a lot more opportunity for people to pick up the game and say, hey, look, characters who aren't just big titty anime women. Nice. But anyway, not only did Annie come out, they are rebalancing a lot of the game.
How big is this balance patch? Because those are always, I always
scares the shit out of me.
It's terrifying too, though. I know. Yeah, depending on the game and its current state. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like, let me give you the rundown. At the end of the most recent patches cycle, there are 2 or 3 problems where 2 of them are things that need to be solved in a bad way, and then 1 of them needs to be solved in a good way. So Beowulf can cheat the combo system and beat the infinite prevention system with his hype mechanic, which gives him access to so much damage and looping vortex style pressure. It's dumb. Something needs to be done. I don't know what it is. I'm so glad I don't have to be the one to solve it, but something needs to be done about that. That hasn't been touched yet. The other thing is Peacock. Peacock is the zoner. Sort of the, not Dhalsim, but like she puts a lot of shit on the screen and then can teleport, which sounds like Dhalsim the more I talk about it. The problem is, not only is she this wizard zoner character, one of only 2 zoning characters in the game, if she's up close, it's not a big deal. She's got an invincible reversal and good, like in-your-face vortex pressure. Yeah, it's weird, and I don't mind even that she has literally everything. She has everything and damage. She can kind of beat the infinite prevention system, not in the same way and not as well, but she just does so much damage up front that it doesn't matter. She's a heavy-hitting Dhalsim who can also rush down.
So Street Fighter V Dhalsim? Street
Fighter V Dhalsim, if Street Fighter V Dhalsim could zone.
As no one Street Fighter V can, as we know, yes.
So that was part of the things that were addressed in the most recent beta balance patch. They've toned down her damage. They made some of her options that were meant as zoning but effective in Rushdown a little bit more punishable, which I appreciate. But then RoboFortune and Eliza got reworks. RoboFortune needed... she's the third problem. She needs to be buffed. Desperately. She doesn't do good damage. She's the other zoner in the game, and zoning just doesn't do a lot of damage. You have to be right for a really long time to get damage in Skullgirls from zoning. And she can't teleport across the screen to suddenly pick up with a vortex. And even if she does, even if she could do that thing, she doesn't have the damage output to justify doing it.
It just makes me angry to think about. Like, I literally, I get like triggered or tilted or whatever you want to say. Like whenever I hear like, oh yeah, you can do all the zoning and it just doesn't do any damage, and I'm like, why? Like I just get flashbacks to like Street Fighter V crouch hard punch or Street Fighter V flash kick is just like, it's nothing. It does no fucking damage. Why? Mm-hmm. Why would you ever?
Why would anyone think that was a good deal?
Especially, I feel like the more a game has damage, the more necessary it seems to be to me to like
to be able to keep people at arm's length.
Yeah, to punish them and make them think about it. But a lot of times they just don't do it, and it's like, it's one of the things I appreciate so much when they get it right with like, we use like Grand Blue as an example. Like Grand Blue has like, I think the best old school new school combo, because you don't get a lot of damage for just crouch hard punching in Grand Blue, but the crouch hard punch does lead to a very simple air-to-air or anti-air combo, like 2 or 3 buttons with most characters, that does do a pretty significant amount of damage.
Sizable chunk.
Or like someone like Bubs who can combo into a super really easily off of an anti-air. So like, I think even if your game isn't as simple as a Street Fighter, where you can't just be like, well, Flash Kick should do 200 damage unless it's Street Fighter 5 and it does 1 damage or whatever, like even if your game isn't that simple, I feel like there are a lot of very easy routes that you can take to make the zoning or the anti-air game plan deal damage. But a lot of devs just look at that and they think, oh, we'll give them a fireball because I don't know what, because fighting games are supposed to have fireballs, but then it doesn't do any, it doesn't do any fucking damage.
It doesn't do anything.
I'm thinking like I guess like Ryu in Marvel or some shit where you're just like, he has like these tools, but they just don't do the things they need to do to be useful.
Because fireballs don't work like that.
Yeah, and it's just like, why, if you're gonna, why would you even put it in the game? Why would you even put it in the game if it's gonna deal no fucking damage to zone? I don't understand it.
So I don't know that you'll necessarily enjoy the route that they took to fix the problem. You can, if you're not playing solo Fortune, or if you're not playing solo Robo Fortune, then you can use assist to augment the damage. Like if you do Cilia slide assist with double, you can convert off of like mid-screen beams. You can do your zoning move. Your assist will pop them up, and then you can take them into the vortex. You can take them for a ride. What they did is they took her install super. She's got a thing where she short circuits and then blows up later. If you do that now, then you get an air dash. And suddenly you're like one of the better rushdown characters in the game. So it's an interesting, nuanced way to do it. I know that it wouldn't make you happy, but it's kind of neat that you can say, okay, well, I've spent the bars, I've invested resources into this. Now I can transfer or translate really easily from zoning into rushdown. I can do the peacock thing where she has everything, except it costs me this initial investment.
Yeah, so instead of making it directly do it, it's like you convert it into a hit, basically. Yeah, there's a lot of games that have that, and I don't even really mind that as a character, but I feel like that shouldn't be the entire
required.
Game. Yeah. I feel like if there's a character, like you think about, like, we'll go back to Grand Blue, like Lancelot, where like he has like this fireball and it is like actually kind of good, but the main purpose of it is to do a setup and convert it. Yeah. To me, that's fine. But if every single character who had a fireball played that way, and always wanted to like teleport in do a 50-50 mix-up after every fireball every time, that would be bad, in my opinion. Because that's not, I mean, it is zoning, but it's not.
It's not what we wanted.
It's not zoning. What's what some people want, but it's not like, it's not, I don't know. Some people want to drive a motorcycle, but you can't be like, oh, I'm going to make a game about vehicles, and then the only thing in it is motorcycles. That's not okay.
Because it's not a game about vehicles. It's about motorcycles.
Exactly. Exactly. So like, anyway, that's, it's not awful for like one character, but like if every character is that way, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. And then the other thing, so like my best character is either Painwheel or Eliza. Painwheel is probably going to get some kind of a nerf, which makes me sad because she's not good. But Eliza, though, they decided to rework. They gave her a new super. They added a new mechanic. When she hits people,
which one is Eliza on the floor. Again?
Eliza is.
I remember Painwheel.
Eliza's Egyptian. She's all of her stuff is like her stand jab is walk like an Egyptian.
Cat lady where her head comes off for something.
No, that's Misfortune.
Oh shoot! Okay.
Yeah, no. She's just she looks like a lounge singer. She's an evil lounge singer with a skeleton inside. We all have skeletons inside, but hers comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's her gimmick. Is that originally they pitched it that if you hit Eliza, she would bleed on the floor. And then she could use the blood to do things. And then they found out that would crank up their ESRB rating. So they were like, nah, fuck that. So then they went with, if you do all of her quarter circle back moves, make a skeleton come out, and the spooky, scary skeleton has hyper armor. So you can press whatever buttons you want, and they just can't, they have to hold it. But that drains your meter. They got rid of the meter drain, and instead her life, or her health bar drains while her skeleton is out. Which makes sense. But when she hits you, blood comes out, which somehow doesn't crank up the ESRB. And then she can collect the blood to get health back. So now there's like a reason to be a skeleton aside from obscure combos and gimmicks. Which is interesting, but now
interesting enough. I mean, you're sacrificing life, but you're getting life back.
Yep.
That sounds interesting. I feel like
it is. It's compelling. It's not the character that I've been playing for the past 5 years.
Yeah, big difference. Yeah,
I'm
big change.
horrified.
Big changes
it might
like
be
that
better.
are.
Yeah.
I know what you mean because there have been some like that. There was actually Bison in 4 was that way for me because the way I played him was very like setup oriented in Street Fighter 4 AE 2012, which is the one I played Bison the most. He was like a second or third character for me. I used him actually in tournament a fair amount depending on matchups. And then when Ultra came out, I mean, I was very happy that Delayed Wake, was added to the game overall.
But that fucks with all
for
your
the
setups.
way I was playing Bison, he became, which is probably better for Bison, he became a little more neutral focused again, which is probably how he should have been, at least in terms of his Street Fighter 4 design. But I was like, oh, nah. I don't want to this in my life. I don't want to do this. I have Guile for that, so that's I started playing more Able with early Ultra's release. Yeah.
Dude,
but yeah, sometimes they change
scared
characters
shit
a lot.
Out of me.
Yeah,
I am not flatly against them because like some characters like RoboFortune really did need some kind of a redesign, some kind of a new. This is how they're supposed to be now.
Do you think there were people though who felt about RoboFortune the way you feel about Eliza, or do you think RoboFortune was just so bad and stupid that everyone universally?
No, she was bad. Everyone
universally was like, cool, good, okay, yeah.
Like there are people who played her. I was actually in the process of picking up RoboFortune to replace Beowulf. There are reasons to play her, but she is bad and she does need help. Eliza is just like a good character that some people like and other people think are that she's good. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why she's getting a redesign. It's more in line with how they initially pitched her before they got censored, before censorship changed the way that they were looking at it.
Dude, all the censorship is so weird to me. Like the fact that they have no problem with a skeleton coming out of someone's body, but then like blood is a problem is super fucking backwards to me. It's the same way with like fucking boobs and violence in movies and shit, where it's like you can murder all of the people, but God forbid there's one titty on the screen. Like what? I don't get it.
You know how Misfortune, you remember her, the cat lady whose head comes off? Mm-hmm.
I just confused her storyline 5 seconds ago. So yes, I thought she was Eliza. So I did know who that was. I just didn't know the name apparently.
In the storyline, she is in with the mafia, and the mafia she steals the life gem, and the mafia is like, you shouldn't have done that, and then they cut her to pieces and throw her out. Well, the good news for her is that the life gem kept her from dying, and the bad news is now her head comes off. So like. In gameplay, she throws her head at you and stuff. She will take her head off and roll it at you, and now her head is on the screen, and you have to watch where it is because it's gonna zoom on a little blood trail to bite you. Right?
Huh.
Horrifying. Totally okay with the ESRB because she takes her own head off, and it doesn't kill her.
And she isn't dead.
Yeah. If she knocked someone else's head off, or if someone else knocked her head off, that would have cranked up the ESRB rating. But since she's doing it herself, it's fine. That's so it's totally good.
Arbitrary. I don't know. It's weird. Yep. Anyway. I don't know. I hope the patch turns out well for you. It is always scary to see a big one. I think I usually get kind of hyped for it if I trust the developers, or even if I don't, if the game is just like in a shit place, I'll get kind of hyped for it. But sometimes it's bad and dumb. I mean.
It's in a good place, and I trust the developer, but I just don't want them to change exclusively my characters. Change other people's characters. Redesign Philia. I don't care.
Yeah.
Stop hurting me.
Stop hurting me personally.
Yeah. Now, speaking of hurting me personally, do you want to run it too?
I was going to the same transition. Speaking of hurting Alex personally, let's talk about WandaVision. There's going to be spoilers here. The alert. If you have not seen, this is the end of the podcast for you. If you haven't seen WandaVision, we bid you adieu. Thanks for coming. If you have seen WandaVision, we shall now
stick around.
Spoil
for
the
hot
things.
Takes.
Spoilers coming now. All right, do you want to lead, or do you want me to on this one?
Oh, I would love to.
Right,
I have never seen a show with such animosity or disdain for its viewership since like BBC Sherlock as WandaVision does for anyone who cared about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What the ever-loving fuck was that with Quicksilver?
You just think that because of Quicksilver, or you think that because of other reasons?
Okay. We all know, as people who live on this earth, that Marvel recently acquired Fox. We live in a society where Marvel has acquired Fox. We know that we were not allowed to see mutants, which is for a lot of us, our favorite part of the Marvel universe, the comic books, we know that we haven't been allowed to see them for legal reasons because Fox owned them and Marvel didn't.
Sure.
Marvel owns them now. And they set up, they come out and they're like, look who it is. Well, it's Quicksilver on screen.
Specifically Quicksilver from the X-Men.
Yeah,
the actor.
Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in the Fox movies, who was actually like the best part. Either him or their new Magneto was the best part of the Fox X-Men movies. They brought him in specifically to be Quicksilver, and everyone was like, holy shit, this is it. The thing is happening. And Marvel was like, hell yeah, it is. Look at him. Look, that's him. He's Quicksilver. Evan Peters, look, he's got super speed. He talks like Quicksilver. His room looks like Quicksilver's room. It's him, guys. And then we're like, is that true? And they say, no. Fuck you, idiot. You believed us? You thought we were telling you the truth? You thought that this represented a huge paradigm shift in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Idiot. What were you thinking?
I think you're giving them too much credit. I don't think, I mean,
no.
I think you're giving them way too much credit. I literally think they were just like, can we get Quicksilver in here for this part of the story for reasons?
Why would they do it? Why would they cast Evan Peters specifically, except to either? I think
you're giving them way too much credit. I'm not saying it didn't have that effect on you. I'm not challenging your reality.
No, that's what happened. That's what they did.
No, I believe that's what happened for you, but I think they're way too dumb to even go that far. I think they just were like, oh, we need Quicksilver because, I mean, it's a show about Wanda. We'll have a thing with Quicksilver because Quicksilver is Wanda's brother.
And, they could have brought in the other guy who played Quicksilver.
Yeah, but I don't think they care about that guy. That guy was Quicksilver for 5 seconds. He died in like 2 seconds in Age of Ultron. Nobody gives a fuck about that actor.
And the other guy, he's been playing Quicksilver for multiple movies, except then there we are back on my point.
I don't think they thought about it. I literally don't think that they thought about it. I think, and they still don't call him a mutant. They still don't. It's just
because then they would have said the M word, which Fox owns. Except they own Fox.
It's just her brother. I think that's all they thought. I'm not saying it wasn't stupid because it is. They should have thought about it.
I'm saying it's intentional.
You think it's intentional? And they named him Keith Boner or whatever the fuck, Jason Boner, Ralph Boner.
Yeah, the whole thing was played up for a dick joke. Fuck you, Marvel. If you're listening to this podcast, fuck you, Kevin Feige. Fuck you.
I mean, I thought it was stupid.
It is. That's why you thought it.
I thought it was stupid and bad. I don't even mean that. I thought it was stupid and bad that they even brought him in at all. If he was just going to turn out to be like some stupid, irrelevant, whatever dumb thing. Yeah. But I don't even care about that, if I'm being honest. I did think it was dumb and bad, but it was not remotely part of what bothered me about the show. Okay, so let me start with the positive. I actually thought the show was really unique, and I couldn't stop thinking, oh my God, I can't believe they've even made this show. Like, I couldn't believe they were allowed to make the show as they made it.
Because it's so weird. They nailed sitcom horror, which is not a genre.
I can't believe that anybody signed off on it and okayed it for an IP as big and boring and predictable as the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't believe that they signed off on doing something that unique and interesting. It was like almost as shocking as when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 was actually a really good movie. After the first Guardians, which was just like a fun
Guardians 1.
It's fun. It's just a fun, dumb romp with a crappy generic villain and the most generic superhero storyline of all time. And the only reason it's any good is because the characters are funny and the way they interact is interesting. And that makes it a C of a movie. But Guardians 2, against all odds, ends up being like very nearly an A+ of a movie, with like the way the narrative plays out and the themes that it has going. It's fantastic. So they don't hit that line very much, though, is what I'm getting at. So like I was shocked when there was a similar thing where I was like, okay, they're doing like a weird, interesting, different thing with like a Marvel storyline. They don't often, not never, but they don't often do that. They often are shitty. And if they're good, they're like barely okay. Like I think about like, okay, fucking Civil War, fucking Black Panther,
Black Panther was good.
No, it wasn't. It was just not bad. And that's how I feel about like Civil War. That's how I feel about fucking
Civil War is whatever. But Black Panther was good.
The fucking Edward Norton Hulk movie that everybody was like so hyped about. And
no one
like,
actually saw that.
It's not good. Like it's not a good movie, dude. Like I don't understand why people think that the movies are good when they're just not bad at best most of the time. Some are good, don't get me wrong. So like fucking Avengers 1 for its time was very good. I think it aged really poorly because it was just something that had never been done. But I do think the last 2 Avengers movies are really solid. Especially like Endgame. Like, but Avengers 2 is like awful. Age of Ultron is like fucking awful. And like
Jen just rewatched that. She says it's not as awful as she remembered it. As I understand, it aged better than the original Avengers did.
I'll check it out. I've seen it like twice, but it has been a number of years. But I think most of the Marvel movies are bad, is what I'm getting at. And they not only are bad, but they're like super generic. Okay, they have like the most generic fucking plot, villain setup. Like everybody, like again, I'm gonna pick on Black Panther. Why do people think Killmonger is a good villain?
Because he's relatable.
There's nothing.
He was right. Killmonger was right.
No, I just don't agree with the setup of that at all. I really don't.
Oh, it's okay. You haven't endured. How old am I? 31 years. 31 years of racial persecution. I'm only half black.
What does that have to do with
what?
I do not get those themes at all.
You don't get.
I understand why people want that to be the theme of Black Panther. But
it
like,
was the theme.
No, it's not. They're just like I understand
I feel like
that was
setting
their
yourself
intended
up
theme.
not to understand it by refusing to acknowledge that part.
I acknowledge that they attempted to do that. I think their execution was very poor. I don't feel sympathy for Killmonger for like, I'm gonna. I don't get it.
He was a victim of just standard garden variety textbook American racism. And then when he turned to his people, his birthright, when he looked to Africa, they were like, gee, man, I feel like we kind of got to sit the fence here. I don't know. Let's talk to boss man. Chadwick, how's it going? And Chadwick's like, none of that Killmonger shit.
I'll give you the setup because I do think the setup was really good where he is. I think first half Killmonger makes a lot of sense if I can retcon that. Like, I do think the setup is pretty good where it's like his dad or uncle or whatever dies and he's trying to like, help the black folk of America with fucking vibranium, which is, you gotta give me like some amount of how ridiculous their setup is though, because it's like, I understand they're trying to deal with like the very real issues, but then they're like, how are we going to do it? Vibranium solves racism. I just think it's fucking ridiculous. I honestly think people are just so starved for like a black experience to be properly brought up in the Marvel universe that they just wanted Black Panther to be better than it was. I'll give you fucking...
Speaking as a black person, though.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll give you Spider-Verse before we get off that. I will give you... Spider-Verse is super fucking good. I know, but yeah, exactly. And that's why my point here is that the Marvel Cinematic Universe specifically does not often do a very good job with any of these threads, in my opinion.
Consider that for a lot of people, there was no way for us to understand what it was or what I'm gonna let the cat out of my room. I'm so sorry.
Isaac. Bye forever.
Bye, Isaac.
Meow, 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 meow.
Interrupting the podcast.
What an asshole.
Sorry. There needed to be some manner of good or resource that Wakanda had that would give it power or leverage over the world at large. Vibranium is what do we call it? A MacGuffin sort of effect because it's a thing.
Absolutely.
And there are plenty of real things that Africa could have offered, but that's what they went with because it's a superhero cape shit movie. That's why Vibranium, it wasn't to solve racism. It was never to solve racism. It was to prop up Wakanda, and for Black Panther, T'Challa, that was the seat of power from which he could observe and not participate, but look at remotely the rest of the world. And Killmonger said, why don't we just like use that to cure racism? And by cure racism, I mean kill white people. And that's the part where he's a villain. You're not supposed to say that last part or do that last part. That's why it's interesting and compelling because you can see why Killmonger came to do and think that.
Yeah, I do. I just don't think the way that played out was particularly elegant. I don't.
Did you see the part where he said, "Hey, Auntie," to T'Challa's mom? Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember that line.
Okay, just watch that part of Black Panther again.
Okay.
It'll click into place.
It's like, so Killmonger comes in, Killmonger beats the shit out of fucking Black Panther easily, no problem. Super like unearned, doesn't make any sense. Then later, the same thing happens again, where they're like, well, now Black Panther is gonna beat up Killmonger. Like, I just don't feel like any of the story beats. I understand what they're trying to set up, and like I said, I will agree with you on the setup, because I kind of forgot the part with his uncle at the beginning and how he gets that. Actually, I do like thinking through this again. I do remember really liking that and really hoping it would like deliver. I just don't think it delivered. I think if we're comparing like superhero narratives that have to deal with shit like that and like whatever, I think there are way better movies that are not in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, specifically fucking multiverse. I think is a lot better at dealing with
Spider-Verse. You're saying?
Yeah, Spider-Verse is a lot better at dealing with that. Like with, bad guy. Go ahead.
That's because it takes a hyper zoomed in look. What's his face? Killmonger was trying to solve racism for all black people everywhere by killing all white people, which is a huge sweeping thing that couldn't possibly happen at best.
Did he specifically want to kill all white people? I don't even remember that.
Well,
I just remember him wanting power.
He didn't say that. He was trying to end the colonization, the effects of colonization. That's code word for genocide.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know.
But in Spider-Verse, it zooms in, and we're not dealing with black people. We're dealing with this individual, biracial individual. This one guy who's got black relatives. But
don't you think there are some like racism, sexism stuff with that? Like they do that a lot in Spider-Verse, where Dr. Octopus is a woman, and there's like a little line in there that's like,
yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think it tries to do a similar thing where it tries to talk about the overly white standard for a superhero. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. I think Spider-Verse tries to kind of tackle some of those same issues by like having Dr. Octopus be a woman, like talking about fucking his uncle being the bad guy and some of the like expectations he has as like role models. His dad is like strong. I feel like his dad is like strong, generic black man, but also then, he's a cop. There's some play there. Like, and so like he has like some things where he doesn't like because he thinks his dad is too generic in this way, and he looks up to his uncle in these other ways. But then it turns out his dad is maybe a little bit better, and his uncle's maybe kind of a piece of shit. And like, but then also maybe not. Like he still kind of does like his uncle, even though he does ultimately like just
he is a piece of shit, but also that doesn't mean that he wasn't a good role model.
Yeah, like I just think it handled all of the nuances of those facets like so much better than like Black Panther did. And I feel like people just wanted. And I don't even think Black Panther was a bad movie. I'm not trying to say it sucked.
I thought you said earlier that it was a bad movie.
Okay, I think I said it wasn't that good or something, but maybe I don't know. I am me. I think there are worse Marvel movies than Black Panther. I'm not saying Black Panther is like bottom of the bucket. I don't know if I'd say it's one of the better ones, but I think most Marvel movies are not good. So, and I would lump Black Panther in with most of them in a category of being not good, in my opinion. Along with,
and you know what I would lump in? Fucking WandaVision, trash show.
So yeah, thank you for getting us back on track with that. So where that all relates is I feel like WandaVision both is and isn't that.
The first 4 episodes are wonderfully unique takes. Well, not entirely unique. Legion did it, but better. They're wonderfully unique takes on the superhero experience, on media, just as like television as a medium of entertainment. They're doing like really good big things. The mistake that they make is getting into the bigger mystery, the conspiracy, trying to explain everything, which they don't do. They don't explain.
I think their mistake is that they bring that up and then don't explain it. I think if there were a couple episodes after the ones you mentioned where I thought they were building up, and I was like, okay, if this builds to a good thing and they handle this well, I would have been like super on board. Unfortunately, they did not, and it becomes like just a pointless like, and that's also my problem with like
session.
Yeah, and I don't know shit about Captain Marvel, period. I didn't even know there were 2 Captain Marvels. Like I've never
3.
even. Yeah, okay, I don't know. I've never seen the original Captain Marvel because it's a Marvel movie, and I figured it'd be dumb, and I didn't care that much, so I just watched Avengers instead. So I don't really have any hopes or understanding or expectations about like introducing another Captain Marvel. But why the fuck are her powers from running into the Hex?
That's normal.
Is it?
That's not the problem I have. Yeah,
Wanda does a thing, and Wanda creates Captain Marvel in like 2 seconds because the lady ran through. I mean, there's a lot of dumb superhero explanations out there.
Extra-dimensional energies.
But why are they extra-dimensional? Yeah, that it bothers me.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That's the big problem. They should have explained the Hex, and I feel like that would do a lot to help you with your problems with Monica.
Or if they had not, it's also a problem of pacing for me. So if they had not said the Hex was a Wanda thing, if the Hex was something mysterious that we didn't get an explanation for, I might have bought that then, right? But it's like, no, Wanda did it. And it's like, well, Wanda can create all this shit, but it's clearly not real. But then somehow the shit she creates does actually affect this other lady.
Reality, yeah.
That part annoys me. That's part A. Part B, and I think this is way more important than part A, is just pacing. I think you can get away with a lot if you string something out enough in terms of suspension of disbelief. But the fact that like this bitch just fucking runs through the thing, she's like, I ran through the thing.
I enjoyed the emotional labor. I feel like the emotional labor was earned. It didn't explain itself in a sense that made
you think
like scientific sense.
They earned her doing the superhero landing when she does it.
Go watch the first Captain Marvel movie and get back to me.
Oh, I'm sure it's also bad. Yeah. I have no...
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it explains the tie-in, the connection, the emotional labor that Monica went through. You meet her mom in the Captain Marvel movie.
So I'm aware of that, but... Okay, well, I guess I'll have to take your word for it, but I feel like the only, quote, emotional labor there was like 5 seconds of her, like, running through the field, and it shows, like, some weird... double imagery, and then it all zooms back. It's like she splits into like 3 things, and then she zooms back in, and then she's a superhero.
If I may give WandaVision a completely unearned benefit of the doubt, they are paralleling what's her face, Monica's experience with Wanda's experience, in that they have both undergone this grief that we would understand if we had seen the original Captain Marvel movie and seen her mom and understood her place in the cinematic universe proper. They're showing how they both interacted with the death of a loved one, that loss, and then how they both, like, it makes Monica stronger, and it also makes Wanda stronger, but she's coping with it funny by pretending that she's not healthy. Or by pretending that she's healthy and refusing to acknowledge that bad things happened.
I guess. I don't know. I'd have to see the movie. I guess I'll have to take your word for it. I remain dubious of that having any effect on me because
cool.
I feel the same way. Well, I don't even, it's not even about the mom. I don't care about, I mean, I feel like they effectively showed that she had like grief and loss for her mom several times throughout the show. I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like, okay, there are shows where that could work tonally. There are movies where that could work tonally. Where, like, first Spider-Man movies, which are not good, but they're campy, right? So then it's like, oh, I got bit by a spider. I feel like that works because there's like a degree of camp to that. And while there is some camp in WandaVision, it's all very clearly meant to juxtapose and make horrifying the underlying like grief and drama. And maybe you're right. I don't know. I don't feel like that delivered, but I feel like it's not even just that character. It's also like Wanda and Agatha is the same kind of interaction where, like, I feel like the show is building this cool thing with Wanda, and I'm like, oh, she's like literally building a house of grief, and that house of grief becomes like an entire city. And I'm like, that's really cool. And then out of nowhere, they're just like, I'm Agatha. I was a witch a long time ago, and I stole some people's powers for 5 seconds, and now I'm going to steal yours, and you're a witch. And I'm like, wait a minute, she's never been a witch. I mean, she's been the Scarlet Witch, and she's had weird powers, but she's never... Also, your webcam is dead. I don't know if it matters. But she's never had, like, proper witch covenant powers, and I feel like they would have been better to not even talk about that. But they do. And then she's like, what, don't you know about these runes? Haven't you read these books? And I'm just like, this is not enough time. This is what I'm going to with time and suspension of disbelief. There, like, wasn't enough time for that to land, in my opinion. And I think that's a thing the show struggles with a couple different characters, like where they don't spend enough time building up, or even Marvel in general. They don't spend enough time building up a thing. Like I have the same problem with like the first 2 Thor movies, because they're just like, he's a big guy and he struggles with things because he's a god. And you're like, I haven't seen anything that makes me accept Thor as like this amazing leader. I haven't seen anything that makes me, and I feel like the back half of like Black Panther is the same way, where like they have like a decent build up, but then it's like suddenly Killmonger is like, he's like, he's going to be the king, and now he is the king. And we have to like, I just don't feel like they don't earn their story beats with a lot of their movies. And I think WandaVision, sadly, if I can finally finish my fucking point, sadly ended up in the same place, where it had potential to have good story beats and it just shit them onto the floor.
And that's the thing. Like at the end of the day, like obviously I'm pissed that they lied to me about mutants, but more importantly, they did great setup and then they did just a shit reveal at the end. To say nothing of Quicksilver, that there was no emotional payoff. They were like, damn, isn't it sad that she has to give up her kids? And it's like, yeah. And they're like, good. Keep that thought in mind because the show's over now.
I mean, I don't know why Quicksilver needed to be there other than that they wanted to have more grief strings. That was, I think, their answer in terms of like what they thought it was going to do. But yeah, there was just a lot of stuff that didn't end up needing to be there. I think I also have a lot of problems with like them trying not to be dark, but trying to be dark at the same time. Like the kids should have died a horrible death, but they just put them in this like thing where they go to sleep and everything's fine, and somehow they like write that away like it's okay. I super had a problem with that take. Like the narrative should have been that she had to like kill them, and she should have been even more grief stricken for having to do that. But that's not.
But then she'd be too sad to be in Multiverse of Madness or whatever.
I guess, yeah, I don't know, but that's what like my problem was with it. I think the best parts of it were like Vision arguing with himself. I request elaboration.
The ship of Theseus
was pretty fucking fantastic. I think that was great. But even Vision had a lot of unexplained shit. Like, why does Wanda get to make something that is literally just as strong as the real thing, and then like somehow
Scarlet Witch?
Okay, but then she has trouble with like other. Like, I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, because she lacks formal training.
I don't buy the training element either, though. At least not as it was done in that narrative.
But you saw that she didn't have formal training and had practically unlimited power, as much power as Doctor Strange even. And what's-her-face, Agatha, exclusively had formal training and not much of her own in terms of natural inborn talent. And they were able to keep toe-to-toe for a while until she got outplayed. And the only reason why Wanda was able to beat her was because she interpreted and applied some of the rules that Agatha explained to her.
Putting the dumb runes up, because, no, I don't like any of that. It's all awful.
But you can't really say that they didn't set it up.
No, I am saying
it.
No, I think you're missing my point. You're hearing part of it, but my point is that I wish they hadn't. That's exactly my point. I don't think they had enough time. I don't think they had enough time to set up these like rules of wizardry. Like they tried to like go a little Harry Potter on us or whatever, and they just didn't have time because that's never been a thing. Like I feel like it would be better if they just never brought it up, and if Agatha was just generically hungry for her power or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but then that loses sight of the original character. The character's meant as a mentor character to Scarlet Witch. Did you see Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Okay, so they
also
did
bad, like
establish.
most Marvel movies.
I didn't like it, but they did establish
really
that there's a methodology to magic, a science to it.
Yeah, in a dumb, bad way that didn't work and was stupid. Yes.
But they did do it.
No, they said it. They didn't do it.
Oh, excuse me. No, they did. There's a training montage where Doctor Strange learns to be the Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
They did it.
They did
I'm
not succeed.
saying it was
It
good.
was poorly done. It was bad, like most Marvel things. Actually, I think the best thing about Doctor Strange is it's the retcon they do of Tilda Swinton's character in Endgame.
Endgame?
Because that character should have been so much cooler and better like everything in Doctor Strange, because it's another crappy Marvel movie that isn't awful but isn't good.
Instead, it sort of gets fridged.
And then they actually kind of like retcon some of the way she is and show you how she might have been, and they kind of like use that line about how this isn't how things are supposed to go, which in my opinion has some writer sass to it. In my opinion, that's on the surface them saying that the character shouldn't have played out that way in real life, in universe, shouldn't have been evil, and that she did mess up and she's owning it. But meta writer sass is like, yeah, that movie did suck. Let's make this character less shitty. So I think
maybe.
I'm super convinced of that one. But like, there's just so Marvel. I feel like 90% of the time is not good. Is what I'm getting at. And sadly, WandaVision ended up being
90%.
It looked like it wasn't going to be for a long time.
The first 4 episodes were good. Sincerely,
and it ended up being another just not that great. I mean, I enjoyed it enough to not be mad that I watched it, but it was
not me.
Yeah, well, you've got your angry X-Men part that I think you can't be saved from. I mean, that's the
no.
I didn't have those expectations or that level of faith in them. I think where you erred is by having any faith in them doing anything good.
And they told me that they were clever, and I did the foolish thing and believed them. They're like, "Here's 4 episodes of Clever. Don't you wonder where the show is going? Aren't you curious about the mystery?" And I said yes, and they said, "You idiot! How could you?" Like, real talk to you and to any of our listeners, just watch Legion instead.
I've heard good things about that.
Dude, Legion is like if WandaVision didn't suck.
Okay. I don't know anything about it other than that people say it's good.
Legion is in the Marvel comics, and I won't spoil everything for you. He is a mutant with ultimately nigh omnipotence, but he's got a problem where he has a multiple personality thing going on. They do a better job of explaining it. It's not hokey. Oh, he's got a split personality. He's got a serious issue where there are multiple brains in his head, due no small part to the fact that he's the world's most powerful telepath. You know how the first 4 episodes of WandaVision were sort of clever and weird? This is that the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't mind them breaking out of that, though. I actually liked, I think, 1 or 2 more episodes than you did. I kind of liked when they pulled the veil back and confirmed like our suspicions. I just think that once they did that, that's when it became generic Marvel. Like, I'm fucking magical and you're magical. Even the kids were the same. The kids were the same as fucking. I think that whole show really suffered from that. The kids were the same as Captain Marvel, where it's just like the kids are sort of vaguely super, then suddenly they're just fine, and then Vision has that shitty line where he's like, "You were born for this, kids," and they fucking kick ass or whatever.
They were, though.
And then they're, oh my god, I mean, I guess, but and then like the culmination of shitty Marvel unearned badass moments is when fucking shitty unearned Captain Marvel comes in to shitty unearned children, and the guy's like shooting bullets, and they all do a bunch of dumb, shitty, unearned superhero shit. And then they both shittily, unearnedly look at each other and they both say, "Nice, shitty, unearned moves." And the other one says, "Yeah, I also liked your nice, shitty, unearned moves." And I'm just like, this is the dumbest fucking scene. It is like the fucking encapsulation of all of Marvel's, like, they always do that. And I understand we're watching movies about superheroes, and I don't think every superhero needs an origin story, right? Like some superheroes, if they just show up and they're bad, like it would have been better if it was just like, this is the new Captain Marvel and you missed something. And like, she just is a badass now. I'd be like, all right, cool, no problem. But because they're trying to like set it up, they don't. I think Iron Man was a really great one, the first Iron Man, because he spends 90% of the movie fucking in a cave in a shitty fucking suit that sucks. Like, that's why the first Iron Man movie was good, because they did do an origin story and they did spend enough time of him being like shitty, like crappy, hump along, whatever. But like sometimes they try to set up an origin story, and in my opinion, they just super duper duper do not appropriately like earn any part of it. And more often than not, they do that, in my opinion.
I hard disagree about Monica.
Man. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know that I can bring you around. But
she was bad. I didn't. Not okay. So let me clarify. I don't think she was bad as a character, as a human. It was once she started being super duper, I was just like, you're dumb and I hate you.
When she was Spectrum or whatever.
She's just instantly like, I actually didn't dislike her at all when she was like a normal person. Like, I actually thought her going into the Hex, coming out, her being the link to like what is the Hex, and her kind of understanding more than other people and being like the what's the word I'm looking for, the exposition building block, I thought was pretty well done. But then it was like 5 seconds later, Kat Dennings is like, brr, computer things, I've seen your DNA, and she's like, whatever, and then like she's a superhero. I'm just like, okay.
Well, it was a bigger deal for
Why isn't Kat Dennings a fucking superhero? Why the fuck isn't Kat Dennings a goddamn fucking Captain America? Because she went in once instead of twice? Fuck, that's fucking so odd. Like, there is no...
But they tell you explicitly that's how it works.
I don't care. That's dumb. Like, that's dumb. Them saying explicitly that's how it works makes it more dumb and more annoying. Like, it does... Oh, God. It's really bad.
Okay,
you cannot bring me around that.
For your sake, I hope that they do a little short, it could be an animated short where Kat Dennings explains the exact science of how Monica's DNA got warped. I hope that they do that.
That wouldn't do it.
No detail.
You're missing. No, it's not about the detail.
No.
Specifically,
I want them to.
It's about the time and that transformation.
Yeah, it's a half hour dedicated to it.
God. The level of power you get relative to the amount of time, relative to how well they've built up the effect, are all things that go into this. So if they had properly explained that the Hex was this crazy thing that we couldn't possibly understand, and that maybe she got like really lucky, or that she resonated with the Hex, or there was some, maybe then I could have dealt with the short amount. But like, my problem is this is like a fucking perfect storm of narrative shit, where it's not only do they not explain the thing, not only do they not take enough time, not only do they not give us, in my opinion, anything that makes this character's journey through the Hex look like a thing that should transform them. It's like all of those things are happening. It's not just each one individually. Like, so or they could have also made the whole show. Okay, let's walk it back this way. Let's say the whole show remained weird and campy. I think a way better way to have done that is if she like became Captain America in some weird campy way within the show. I would have bought that 1,000 times better if they had just been like, oh no, this episode I touch some weird like toxic substance, and it was like a fucking joke on like how quickly that happens to like Spider-Man or whatever the fuck. And then in the real world she really was that. I would have been like, oh, that's cool. That fits with like the way the show is doing it. But in-canon explanation for it. Yeah, but they didn't. So like they botched the
meta-canon.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was handled well, and I think for me personally, I have a serious problem with ultra cool moments that are just not at all earned. They do it in like Wolverine Origins. That movie's so awful. We're like,
whoa. You can't. Like, I hated WandaVision, but I think it's a little bit unfair to compare it to Wolverine.
Oh, I don't think it's anywhere near that bad as a movie. Okay. But I'm saying like it's the same trope issue where they're like, here's like a new guy and he has this power to do a thing, and you're like, okay, cool. There's like a degree of that I can accept, and then suddenly it's just like way more badass than it should be based on like what we know about this character. Like. It's hard to put exactly into words the best way to do it, but you know when you see like the authenticity of earning a narrative arc and when you don't. And I just did not. Yeah, and you could be right about me missing out on the first Captain Marvel movie, but man, I don't know. I didn't see anything about her mom appearing in the 30 seconds she ran through the field and became a superhero. I didn't see anything about that.
It was a very touching moment. I was verklempt.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's touch and go there for a second.
Why? Because you saw her mom's face for a second, and that.
What you remember when she woke up from having been snapped, and then she's like, "Hey, where's my mom?"
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, she died of cancer.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I don't know. That's sad.
It is sad, but why is she a superhero? I don't understand why she can.
Because she accepted her grief, unlike Wanda, who didn't and made children and a new husband.
Why does that make you a superhero? I don't understand why that makes you a superhero at all. They could have even said like they could have just said she was born as fucking Captain Marvel, and I would have liked that better. They could have been like, you've always been Captain Marvel, and it just now appeared because you ran through the thing and because it stressed you, and now like that response made this thing that was already in you like happen. I would have been fine with that, but the fact that like somehow running through a weird field that other people go through and don't become superheroes makes her a superhero, and then it does it in like 2 seconds. I can't. I'm sorry,
okay,
I can't. It's awful.
Here, I've got an explanation for you that I hope will help resolve this whole problem. Did you know that the episode where she walked through the field took place on December 21st of 2020?
What? No. What?
That's the day. The prophesied day where black people's DNA would be unlocked. And because she was walking through the hex at the same time as her, you don't remember this?
What are you doing? No, I don't remember
this at all. Okay, there's this lady last year, tail end of Black Year, talking about quote. This is the actual thing that was said. As black people, genetically, we are stronger and smarter than everyone else. We are more creative. On December 21st, our real DNA will be unlocked, and majority will be able to do things that we thought were fiction. Learn who you are as people. They want to make us average. That was said December 5th of last year, and everyone lost their fucking minds talking about the superpowers they were fixing to get on December 21st.
Man.
Now you know. It took place on December 21st, and that's how she got her powers. I hope that
yeah, that's it. It's
Monica Rambeau's emotional labor more palatable.
It's good now. It's good now.
I'm glad I could help.
It's my favorite superhero. Everything's good.
Huge Spectrum fan. You got a tattoo.
I don't even know that I'll have a problem. I mean, this will just be a shitty backstory. Sure. Like the Captain Marvel movie could still be good. Like I said, I liked her as a character well enough. I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. They do shit like that in Marvel all the time. Like, and it just it annoys me greatly because I feel like if you can't have a good setup, you should just not have one. And then I'll have no problem being like, oh, of course Christian Bale is Batman or whatever the fuck. Like he's just Batman. That's what I have to accept for this movie. Like she just is Captain Marvel. Fine, that's fine.
Oh, I see. You just wanted it lumped in with the initial willing suspension of disbelief.
If they can't do it well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because
I don't know, because I liked it.
I'm really Alex. I can't. I don't know. We can't. I don't think we can agree there. I will watch WandaVision again after. Don't
watch Legion. Don't watch WandaVision.
After watching Captain Marvel, and I'm pretty certain I will still feel the same way, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway. WandaVision could have been good. I don't totally demonize it. It is not the worst Marvel thing I've seen.
It's the worst Marvel thing I've seen. It's worse than Thor 2. Yeah.
No, literally not possible to be worse than the first Thor movies.
No, because I had fun watching Dark World.
Oh,
I did not have fun
Alex.
With WandaVision. It was 2 months of every week they were like, "Aren't we clever?" And then it was a dick joke. Dun 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 dun. That's it. It's over. Go home.
I can't. There is
Thor 2 Dark World had what's his face? The Ninth Doctor, Christopher Eccleston. So I don't know. Did WandaVision have Christopher Eccleston?
Alex, you're a lost cause. I can't.
No, WandaVision is the lost cause. Nothing is as
bad as the first Thor movies.
No, not the first. The second.
Nothing is as bad. Oh God!
I have to introduce a new tier. If Thor 2 was D tier, then this is F tier. I have to go. I have to redo the Marvel
so
tier
much
list.
Better than that. Thor 2 is like F, and this is like a C minus.
Nah.
Oh man.
Nah.
It was not that bad. It was just generic Marvel bad. Well, anyway, Alex and I have agreed to disagree on basically everything about WandaVision, except that we didn't like it very much. I suppose that is our podcast for this week.
We did the best we could. We're so sorry.
We tried. Anyway, I have been MetalMusicMan.
And I've been Professor Lex.
And we will catch you guys next time. Bye.